Good morning, everybody. It's Reed here, and I'm excited to be with you today because we've got so much to cover, and we're so excited because we've already given you some really great information, and today we're going to add to that. You know, in the first video, we talked a lot about behavior. In fact, we gave you some ways that you can change behavior in such a way that will start to add a constant flow of product ideas coming to you, and you'll never be wondering, what am I going to sell, right? And in the second video, we gave you a whole new understanding of what it means to be profitable, how to calculate profitability, and ways that you can go through and do that easily and quickly using a wonderful spreadsheet that I gave you. And I hope that you're already taking advantage of those great things. Now, today we're going to do something even different. The first one was a behavior. The second one was an understanding. And this one today is a technique. I'm going to give you a technique that's going to cause you to be able to see your product ideas in a whole new light. Totally differently once you start to look at them using this particular technique. And we call it Don't Marry Your Products. It's really the third big break in this video series, and I know you're going to love it. So let's dive right in. So we call this one Don't Marry Your Products. And you know, the corollary to Don't Marry Your Products is find somebody else's girlfriend instead. And, you know, I know it's some allusion to some things, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm trying to teach some concepts here that are very, very critical, and this is a really powerful way to do it. We're talking about people who get so involved with their products, they get so attached to their products that they just can't let them go. They just can't let go of their good product ideas because they were good product ideas, right? They were at one point, at one time, they were really good. And product ideas have a life cycle. You know, they kind of tend to go over a period of time where they're really good, and then the market slowly and subtly changes. And so you can't get married to your products. But what we're going to show you how to do today is, instead of getting married to your products, we're going to show you how to find somebody else's girlfriend instead. You know, somebody else's girlfriend might be exciting and interesting, and you might have better luck with that than with trying to continue to wring all of the final little tiny bits of profit out of the product that you already have. So today we're going to talk about this because, well, first of all, it's really important that you understand this particular concept. It's important because your products are there to do a certain job. There's something that they're supposed to be doing for you, and what that is they're supposed to be paying you. Your products exist only to pay you. Now, of course, they exist to do other things in the process of that, which is, for example, to make other people's lives better, or to provide a service or provide something that they need or want. And that's great. But the real end goal for you having your products is so that they pay you and they don't pay someone else. And for you to have your products because not only do they pay you, but they pay your business, and they make it possible for you to stay in business and be in business and continue providing those products and those services and other things to your customers. So those products exist to do a job, and you want to focus on the fact that if they're doing that job and doing it well, then they're good. And if they're not doing that job and not doing it well, they're not. See, like I said a minute ago, products do have a life cycle. They tend to start off really strong, and then over time they kind of build up to an apex, and then they kind of start to taper off a little bit after that. The length of the life cycle and the strength of the life cycle depend on the kind of product it is. Some products are very exciting and trendy, and they move quickly, right? And they die quickly. And some products are boring and just not sexy at all. And those products tend to last for a long time because they're more like staples. They're more like commodities. They're things that everybody uses every day, and they don't really have that much of a life cycle. That horizon for that product might be years or decades even. So depending on the type of product that you have, you may have a long life cycle or short life cycle. But the point is that as you get towards the end of that life cycle, you need to be willing to let that product go and to put your money into something that's new, to find something that's new and interesting and exciting and is trending so that you can get in front of the next big thing. Now, you know, you can spend very easily a fortune launching a new product. And so the tendency is to hang on to aging products rather than launch new ones because, oh, I don't want to launch a new one. It's going to cost a lot of money. I don't want to launch a new one because it's going to take a lot of work. I don't want to launch a new one because the one I've been married to for so long is just so comfortable, right? Well, look, you've already got time and money invested in the old product, so that's a reasonable position to take if you're going to be an average or a below average Amazon seller. If you want to really up your game and you want to get on top of things, one of the things that you need to realize is that spending your time and your money is one thing, but trying to wring out every last penny before moving on, well, that's just going to slow you down and cause you to have lower performance in your account. So, what if? Let's play the what if game, right? I like the what if game. What if you could ride the wave someone else paid to create? You know, there are waves that come through the market when new products are introduced, new concepts come in. And I say the market because it's happening all the time in all different segments of the market. It's not like there's one wave that comes and impacts the market and changes everything. Although those do come along once in a while, you're probably not going to be involved in those. That would be something like the iPhone or something like electricity, you know, something that's huge, like it's a giant master wave. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about waves that are in individual market segments, even smaller than market segments, down into nodes and niches where new product ideas come forward that solve a problem or change something or create a new desire on the part of the customer to go get that. Every year the new car models come out, and every year they incrementally make them a little bit more desirable and a little bit more desirable until after some years go by, you're like, wow, the new cars are so much better than the one I have. It creates this desire in you to upgrade. Well, that kind of thinking is what happens. That kind of reaction is what happens in the minds of the consumers as they see your product and then they see all the new ones that come out, and your product life cycle starts to get a little, long in the tooth, as they say about horses, right? Starts to get a little older, a little stale, a little bit like it's been around for a while and it's old news, and people start to gravitate toward the new things. So what you really want to be on the lookout for is waves that you can ride. Now, if somebody else is paying to create those waves, that's even better. When you're able to find one of those, it enables you to launch a product effortlessly. What if you could do that? What if you could just simply take a product idea and very easily get it into the market and very easily get it to take off and start selling a lot of units and making a lot of money? What if you could do that relatively easily? What if it was almost effortless, that you didn't have to force it and push it and pound on it and go do all these things that the other gurus tell you to do? When you're a product launch, you got to launch a massive full frontal assault on this product to get it to sell one unit, Not that. What if it was effortless? What if it was easy? What if you could launch a product inexpensively or maybe even for free? What if you could launch products without having to give away a boatload of them, or huge rebates or discounts or giant coupons that just do nothing but cause you to lose money, and you have a situation where you're losing money on the product for the first month or 2 or 3 or 4? What if you don't have to do that? What if you could launch products without having to go through all of that losing of money? What if you could know in advance that your new product is going to sell well? What would that be worth? What if you could focus on the supply chain and know that your efforts are going to succeed, so that you're not worried about the marketing, you're not worried about getting it into the market, you're not worried about how the market's going to take it, you're only focusing on the supply chain at the moment so that you can get the right product at the right time with the right features and the right benefits? What if you just had to focus on that so that the launch and everything that follows after that is easy? It's almost effortless, and it's not going to cause you to be going into the hole on advertising and giveaways and everything else. What if that could be, for you, a reality? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. But first, you got to realize you have to stop marrying your products and, like I said before, take someone else's girlfriend instead. Now, in the first 2 training videos, I showed you the urban mining hack that helps you to build a never-ending list of great product ideas. And that list starts to grow, and you start pulling items out of that list and putting them onto your shorter more list. And once you've got that more list going, and you've got a few items there that really seem to be the best of the best, well, at that point, you start to run your complete financial analysis on each of those products. And I went into some detail on video number 2 about that, and even gave you the spreadsheet that I use to be able to run that full analysis quickly and easily and accurately. And, of course, that allows me, and will allow you too when you do it, to separate the good ones from the not so good ones. Okay, that's a nice way of saying the crappy ones, right? Separate the sheep from the goats. Separate the good ones from the bad ones, okay? This requires you to know your numbers. You've got to understand how that works. You don't have to do the math, but you got to know how it works. You got to know what you're looking for. And that's what you see visually on the spreadsheet when you see those graphs and those charts that show up underneath the numbers that you put in. Now remember, just as a quick little tip here, on that spreadsheet, you only have to type in or put in the information that was in blue. All the information that was not in blue, for the most part, is information that is calculated when it comes to numbers, okay? Talking about the numbers. Now, there are other places in the spreadsheet where you're going to type in things like a URL or type in a product name or product title or something. That's not something that's calculated. It's not a number. But wherever we're talking about numbers on that spreadsheet, the blue ones are the ones you put in. Leave the other ones there because they will automatically calculate as you type in the blue numbers. So if you have any questions about how to use that spreadsheet, go ahead and put those questions into comments or start a new thread or something in the group so that we can answer those questions and make sure that you're all good to go on knowing your numbers. Now, there is one other thing that you can do once you know your numbers, and that is negotiate from a position of strength. I told you that in the video before, and I'm going to tell it to you one more time right now. When you know your numbers, you can go into a negotiation confident that you know exactly what you need to get out of that negotiation. It's not a shot in the dark, okay? When you know that, then you can communicate that easily and quickly to the potential source. And once you do communicate that to the source and they know exactly what it is that you're trying to do in terms of pricing, in terms of quality, in terms of turn time and the other things, then they can work hard to try and meet your needs. And that's what they're very good at. That's why they exist, to meet the needs of customers like you. So now that you have an abundant supply of product ideas and you are busy analyzing them and you're pulling out or culling out the best ones, it's time to learn an amazing technique that we've developed, and we've really pioneered this. It's a great technique that you use for fast product success, and this one concept will make the previous 2 training videos that we've already talked about take on a whole new level of importance. They will take on a whole new level of understanding once you start to see them through the light of what we're going to talk about. It's almost like putting on a set of glasses and all of a sudden, oh yeah, now I understand. Now it makes sense to me. So hang on to your socks. What we want to do is help you to get to that point. Now, when most untrained sellers zero in on a product idea, of course, they try and source the same exact product that the target product is. And this is really what they call white label. If you found a kitchen scale that's your target product, you might take that kitchen scale and you might go, search around and try and find a manufacturer of that particular scale. And you try to find the exact same one and then take that into market as a white label product. Well, there is a much faster and more profitable way to proceed. And I'm going to show you what that is now. What we first need to do is revisit the difference between white label and private label. There is a key difference that maybe you picked up on before, but I didn't emphasize it, so maybe you didn't pick up on it before, and that's okay. I want to really drive that home now. White label is a generic product that gets a brand name slapped on it, okay? You remember it's like a white box, and you can put a sticker with your brand on it. You can put a sticker with your UPC code on it, or your Amazon FN SKU on it, or something like that, and send it in, and you're good to go. But the product inside is basically a generic. It's unbranded. Well, what's the difference between that and private label? Private label is an existing product that gets manufactured from the start with branding and packaging in place. And there might be some small customization that goes with it. So for example, you might have the same thing that you were talking about in the white label program, the white label product with its generic item sitting in the box. What if you went to the manufacturer and said, hey, when you make this next time, put my brand on it, print my brand name on it, or emboss my brand name in it, or somehow, get that brand name on the product. And, oh, by the way, here's the packaging I want, create some packaging that they can put that product in so it's not just a generic white box. That would be branding and packaging. Well, if you do that, then that's called private label. And there is some room there for some small customization. So what is the key difference between white label and private label? That's something that we really want to take to heart right now. Focus on this one thing, white label versus private label. Here is the key difference. It's not that one is branded earlier in the process, okay? It's not that one of them has pretty packaging and the other doesn't. It's not that one takes more time than the other, and really it only takes barely a little bit more time than the other to put your brand onto a product versus just buying the white label generic version and slapping a sticker on. It's really not very much more time than the other. So that's not the key difference. And it's not that one is better than the other. Okay, white label or private label, they both have their place in the market. They both fulfill certain needs. And there's not one of those techniques that's better than the other. And there's not one that's more profitable than the other. Those are not the key differences. You might have thought that one of those is the key difference because of the way that this has been presented. But I want you to just think for a minute about this. In terms of the key difference between white label versus private label, that key difference is one of them can be customized. Okay? White label products can't be or are not customized. You don't make a little change to it. You just buy it off the shelf. It's something that factory or that supplier makes or stocks, and they do it the same way every time, and everybody that sells that sells the exact same product. And it comes with the exact same pros and cons, the exact same positive aspects and negative aspects. It comes with the same features. It comes with the same benefits. And so it is the same product no matter who sells it. And so what's the difference between you selling it and somebody else selling it? Well, really the only difference is marketing. When you're talking about private label, it can be customized. Now, why is customization important? Well, the answer is because when you customize something, you can make it better. Okay? You can make it unique. You can get creative when you're talking about private label products. And you can unleash a brand with private label products where you really can't do that very well with white label generic products. Because the whole point of a brand is for people to trust that your product is of a certain level of quality and performance. And if it's precisely exactly the same as every other product that's out there, you don't have a unique selling proposition. You don't have anything that differentiates your brand from the others. So the thing that's really critical for you to understand about private label is that they allow some customization. All right? Doesn't have to be sweeping changes, doesn't have to be huge differences, doesn't have to be an all-new product that you just thought up in the middle of the night and got up at 3 in the morning and wrote down really quick. It doesn't have to be that. It just needs to be better or unique or creative. And if you do that, you can unleash a brand around that one little thing that you did differently. Now, this isn't just a really nice theory. This is how we launch great products all the time. And I want to give you an example of this technique so that you can kind of visualize how this works. And once you're able to do that, then you're going to be able to go back to all of your product ideas and this massive pipeline, this fire hose of product ideas that are coming in. And every time you consider and look at a product, you're always going to be looking at how can I make it better? How can I make it something that's more unique or more interesting? How can I get creative with this product? How can I potentially solve a problem with this product and be able to unleash a brand around it? So it's not just taking the existing product and saying, I'm going to make that exact thing. Okay, you're going to want to be able to take that product and say, I want to make it better. So this is the case study. It's called Seat Pets. All right, what are seat pets? Well, I don't know if you've heard of these before, if you've seen them, if you have kids or whatever, but seat pets are these interesting little stuffed animals, and they're actually not that little. They're kind of large. They go on a car seat, okay, and a kid will take those little pockets that you see on the front, and they'll put their crayons or their iPhone or whatever they've got. You know, I don't know how young you give an iPhone to a kid. You know, my kids are grown, so I didn't have to deal with that. But it seems like I see even 5-year-old kids running around with phones these days. So whatever they have that's their things that they play with in the car, they can go into the little pockets. And then on the back of the seat pet is this little Velcro thing that attaches to the seat belt that goes across the car seat. So the kid has a pet that they get to play with while they're sitting in their car seat, and that can be a pillow for them to fall asleep on long trips and other things like that. It's kind of a nice, interesting take on a stuffed animal. Now, it has some unique characteristics. It has some interesting design elements. It's a pretty nice product. Well, we saw that and we thought, I wonder if we could make this better. I wonder if we could make this unique. I wonder if we could do something even better than this with this type of an idea. And so, introducing Belt Buddies. Belt Buddies were a take or a design that took the concept of the seat pet and improved on it. Now, how did we improve on it? Well, take a look. This design is much more Asian looking, okay? It has the big cartoonish eyes, and this is a penguin. It's not the other kind of more normal animals that the seat pet people were trying to do. And the arms are different and the feet are different. But the point is that this is a design that kind of has a lot of the similarity to the seat pet, but it's very unique to us. So what we did was we created a brand called Belt Buddies, comfy and safe. Now, Belt Buddies brand was designed to hit the similar target market, to be a competitor to the seat pets. So when we saw the seat pets, we thought, yeah, this is a nice idea. We can make it better. And how we can make it better is we can make it relate to kids better, because kids watch cartoons. Kids watch anime. Kids like those big kind of cartoonish eyes, and they seem to really be drawn to that. So we made a penguin, and of course here's the cat version of the same thing, and you could see those big Asian looking eyes with the stars inside and so forth. Well, these things were not hard to sell, and I'll show you why. When you see the pictures, you'll understand. Whenever you can sell something that uses kids or children or pets or something like that, it's easy to create really compelling marketing. And you can see one of these Belt Buddies on the seatbelt, attached to the seatbelt, and you can see she's really having a great time with her notebook in there and her crayons and whatever else she's got there, her little treasures, while she's going to be sitting in the car seat. And, of course, when you take your photos of this product, then you're going to take photos with the cutest kid you can find, and oh, doesn't she look great? She's fallen asleep now on her Belt Buddy. Well, these are compelling images, okay? So we built a really good listing. We took the concept, we built a good listing behind it, and not just this cat version, but also now here's the penguin version, and it works with older kids too. They like it. They might put their iPod or their iPhone or their tablet or whatever into the little pockets, and it's, of course, still good for sleeping. So at the end of the day, they're awesome for longer car trips. They're even great for shorter car trips, and it's easy to see that in the pictures, okay? These things sold like crazy, okay? People were going in looking for seat pets, and guess what would come up? Belt Buddies. Belt Buddies even started to outrank Seat Pets for the same keywords. In fact, over an 8-week period, we sold 2,000 units of them and ran out. We had only ordered 2,000 units. Could you imagine that? What if we had only ordered 500, right? Well, we had a suspicion. In fact, we had more than a suspicion. We knew that this would sell well because the Seat Pets were taking off. And so we knew Belt Buddies would sell well too. And so we went ahead and ordered 2,000 of them up front, 1,000 of the cats and 1,000 of the penguins. And we ran out of them in 8 weeks. We just couldn't keep them in stock. And we didn't have any marketing. We didn't have any advertising. We did only a basic listing, but we used compelling images and good keywords. It's not like we went all crazy on trying to wring every last keyword, every last little detail out of the listing to try and make it better than my competitor. We didn't have to do that because we weren't selling the same product as any competitor. Ours was unique. It had unique trade dress, is what they call it. It looked different. It was a different design. It had many of the same design elements and cues, but it was different in some very key ways. It appealed to children better. Now, let's take a look at that list again. The list said, can you ride the wave someone else paid to create? How much money do you think Seat Pets spent building a market for this kind of product? I mean, they spent a lot of money. Those things were in, Walmart and Target and all the big box stores, and those things were starting to pop up everywhere. They had a very unique looking box that the giant head would stick out of the box, and people would see it on the shelf, and it would grab their attention. Okay, so they spent a lot of time and money creating a wave inside of the stuffed animal market. And they paid to do that. We didn't. Did that product launch effortlessly? Well, yeah, it did. And why did it do that? Because it was riding that wave. Because other people were already searching for it, and there was no other product like it. There was no other competitor like it. Then when we introduced our competing product that was even a little better into the market, well, that was an effortless launch. And it was also inexpensive or even free because we didn't have to spend a bunch of money on ads. We didn't have to give a whole bunch of them away. We didn't have to go out to our family and friends and say, hey, go buy this, please, please, please. We didn't have to do that. We did not have to do giveaways, rebates, coupons, special deals, lightning deals, 7-day deals, or any of the other kind of deals that you can do. We didn't have to do any of that. We could know in advance that the new product would sell well, and it did. And so we were able to focus on the supply chain, knowing that our efforts would succeed. We focused on the supply chain to build the product that would be better than, more creative than, more interesting than the competition, or that would solve a problem that the competition had. So that's why we say take someone else's girlfriend, or boyfriend, I suppose, right? Somebody else's girlfriend is a product that is new to the market, that's not entrenched yet, okay? Hasn't been married, but it's looking good. And you can look at that product and say, wow, I wonder if I could take that idea and improve on it, okay? And the key reasons that this concept or this technique works is because you don't invent a new product. What you do is innovate. Okay, there's a difference between innovation and invention, and I want to kind of impress this on you. If you innovate on a product, that means you're taking an existing idea or platform, an existing concept, and you're improving on it. Okay, you're making it better in some way, even if it's only a very slight way, even if it's a small way, a subtle difference, like the artwork is different, or like the eyes look different, or it solves a problem that the existing product has, okay? The market is smarter than you and me. So let the market teach you, okay? I don't go in and say, oh, I know what's going to sell on Amazon, because guess what? I don't. But Amazon knows what's going to sell on Amazon. The market itself knows, because you can take a look at the trends. You can take a look at what's selling well. You can take a look at the new products, the new releases, the new things that you're seeing around you as you're doing your urban mining. Everything that's relatively new that catches your attention, you should look at it and go, what can you teach me about the market? All right? Now, I don't know if you've read the book, The World is Flat, but Thomas Friedman wrote a book called The World is Flat. It's, I don't know, several hundred pages of basically saying one thing. He's saying that everything that's happening now in the world can be done by anyone from anywhere. I mean, so there are some notable exceptions. It's hard to get a haircut if you're in Mumbai and your hairstylist is in New Jersey. Okay, that would be difficult. So there are some things that you still have to do physically. But for the most part, the world is flat. Communications have made it possible for you to interact with people anywhere in the world the same way that you would interact with them if they were down the street. And the reason I bring this up is because let's say that you're going to do business with a factory in, I don't know, Tennessee or Michigan. Okay, how would you do that? You would do it by email. You would do it by phone. You would do it by maybe text message, but maybe not. It would be just using certain tools that are, on your phone or computer. All right. Well, how is that different from dealing with a factory that is located outside the United States? How about in Canada or Mexico? Or how about in China? Or how about in Japan? If you did that, it would be the same. It would be the same way of dealing with people, the same way of interacting. And in fact, in many ways, it's actually easier to do business with companies when they are kind of set up and designed to do the kind of work that you want done, to make the kind of products that you want made. So those simple ideas can be great ones, okay? The simple things can be great ideas because the world is flat. You're able to reach out and find suppliers and manufacturers that are able to take whatever that idea is and improve on it. And you can just give them an idea of what you want. You don't even have to spec it out. You don't even have to really come up with complete plans or designs or anything else. You can just have a conversation and say, this seat pet thing, I wonder, do you think we could make one with a better design? And what would that design look like? And you can talk it over with the factory, and at the end of the day, they can make samples for you. They can make proposals for you. They may even have an art department that might create designs and give them to you and ask you if you like them. Do you like this one? Do you like that one? Do you like this one? That's what's really interesting about it. Because the world is flat and simple ideas can be great ones, well, you combine these concepts, and all of a sudden, if you take somebody else's simple idea and you are able to improve on it and find a factory, find a place, find a source that will make it for you, you've got something great. Now, I want to talk about something else that is another key reason why this works, and that is a formula, okay? The formula is similarity equals familiarity, and that equals trust. Similarity, not precisely the sameness, okay? Not exactly the sameness, but similarity means when somebody sees a product that's similar to one that they're already familiar with, then the one that's similar is also going to be familiar to them because the design cues or because the function, the look, the feel, whatever it is going to be similar to something that they're already familiar with. That familiarity transfers from product A to product B, even if product B is slightly different. Now, if product B is radically different, it doesn't transfer. So we're talking about incremental changes, not drastic changes, not wholesale changes, not huge differences, only incremental changes. And that leads to trust. People trust the Belt Buddies because they see the seat pets on TV. Okay? They see the seat pets on TV, they see something similar. Oh, that has a familiar look and feel to it. This is something I trust. All right, the other equation that you want to look at here is differentiation equals brand value. Differentiation is what happens when you take a product idea and you make yours a little different. They call that differentiation. A little different means you've got something that's of value. The value increment is the difference itself. So the Belt Buddies versus the seat pets. If you take that seat pet, the differentiation in look and feel and slight little changes that were made to the way that it attaches to the seat belt, nothing huge, okay? Small changes, but those made it possible for us to launch a brand that would be different because ours had, like I pointed out before, the more Asian-looking, cartoonish, anime-looking eyes. And because that was something that we felt would sell well because kids love that stuff, that became the central theme of the brand. And we were able to launch multiple versions of the product using that theme. And that value then was in the differentiation. Now, when you make improvements to the product, not just differentiation in terms of design, but you make actual improvements to the product, that also adds value. So you can add a lot of value if you do both. If you differentiate by design and you differentiate by look and feel, but then you also add some substantive improvement to the product, well, you're adding additional value. So the whole goal here is to keep it similar so that it's familiar and people trust it, but have some differentiation so that you have some value that you can bring in terms of a new brand. And then also build in some improvements to the design, if possible, so that you add additional value and continue to separate incrementally from the target product. And you do that by working with your source. And I'm using target product and source in the way that we talked about them in previous videos. If you haven't watched those previous videos, you need to stop right now and go back and watch those and then come back here, because you're not going to really be able to understand these concepts moving forward unless you've already seen videos 1 and 2. Now, remember your more list. Go look at your target products. Hopefully by now you got target products on your more list, okay? If you haven't done that yet, you need to really get on that, because the whole thing rests on, the whole concept of selling on Amazon rests on the idea that you're doing urban mining, that you're getting these ideas that you see around you and you're capturing them onto your list, and that you're identifying them, that you're categorizing them, you're thinking about them, and you're training your brain to be able to serve up those ideas. And as you do that, you're building your more list, and as you do that, you can look at those target products that are associated with your more list, and you can focus on the ones that are the most recent or trending. Now, in video number 2, we talked about the ones that were most profitable or potentially most profitable. I got to tell you that when you focus on the ones that are most recent or trending, you're going to turn those into the most profitable ones in a minute. But right now, we're not worried about the ones that look like they're the most profitable already. We're going to look at the ones that are the most recent or the most trending, because these are likely to be premium priced. When products first come out into the market, they're usually priced higher. They're usually at a premium because it's a new concept, it's a new idea, and there's a lot of advertising going on, and these vendors need to pay for all that advertising, and so they charge a higher amount for the product. And so because of that, they're likely to be premium priced. Premium pricing means that when you enter the market and you don't have to spend all that money on advertising, you can make more money on that product than you can on an old, tired reiteration of a warmed over, same as everybody else kind of product that you really don't want to do. You want to focus in on these premium priced products. Now, when you find on your more list a target product that is recent or trending, and it's something that looks new and interesting and exciting, and is probably going to be premium priced, what's the first thing that you want to do? That is read the reviews. Go take a look at what people are already saying about that target product on Amazon. And maybe in addition to the one target product, if you find another target product, look at those reviews too. Hopefully you're not finding many target products because it's relatively new. You're looking for the specific one that you saw or that grabbed your attention, and if there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of imitators, then that really probably isn't recent or new enough. But when you find one that's relatively new and there's really not a lot of imitators or not a lot of takeoffs or knockoffs or any of that stuff, then you're going to want to read those reviews carefully. You'll always want to read the reviews anyway, no matter what product you're launching. But in this case, pay very close attention to the reviews, and what you want to do when you're reading the reviews is look for ways to be similar. Okay, how can I build a product or launch a product or find a product that's going to be similar to this? Look for ways to differentiate, like we talked about a minute ago, and look for ways to improve. The similarity is because you want to carry that familiarity and that trust into your product. That's what you trade on. That's instead of a giant launch budget, okay? You want to grab that trust and that familiarity because you're seeing it on TV or you're seeing it advertised somewhere, and you want to have something that's going to grab that trust and transfer it into your product. And then to differentiate enough that you are not in violation of any intellectual property or trademark or patent or any of those kinds of things. If you don't know how to do that, then that's the subject of a whole other set of things that you need to be aware of as an Amazon seller. But for our purposes today, just make sure that you differentiate it enough that you're not creating an exact copy. If you do want to know more about intellectual property issues and so forth, then when we make our special offer to you that we're going to make here at the end, after all the training is done, for those of you that are qualified and interested, we can talk more about how to do that. But for right now, just look forward to the idea of being similar to Transfer Trust, but differentiate so that you're enough different that you're not going to be exactly the same. You want to differentiate in ways that we've already discussed, like design or function, something that's going to give you a brandable difference. And then you want to improve on that, right? So that you create even more value. Now, to create a unique feature of the product is one way to do all of these things. The feature can be visual, okay, like we did in the Belt Buddies. It can be a visual cue. It can be a visual feature, something that's readily seen. And that transfers really well into photographs, and photographs and video are the best way to sell on Amazon. I mean, your photos and your video are going to do more to sell your product than just about anything else you can do. So if you have visual keys, visible, unique features that you can illustrate, boy, that really goes a long way. And if it's obvious, okay, when you look at the picture, if somebody looks at that and goes, oh, wow, that's a cool idea, that is also a great way to create a key unique feature. Even if it's not visual, if you just see that the way the product is being used, for example, is a different way or a new way, and by seeing that, somebody would say, well, that's a cool idea, then that's an obvious unique feature. Another thing to be aware of is that you want it to be what they call beneficial. Beneficial means that there's a benefit to it, okay? It's not just a feature, but the unique feature creates a benefit for using your product versus using somebody else's. Now, in the case of Seat Pets, the unique feature was visual. It was also obvious in the photographs and the way that it was used and attached to the seat belt and everything else. And it was beneficial because the benefit was that your child would enjoy the trip. Now, our benefit was pretty much the same as the Seat Pets benefit. Their kids are going to enjoy the trip too, but our kids are going to enjoy the trip more because they're more comfortable with the kind of cartoonish look on the face of the animals, because let's face it, that's what kids do all day long anyway when they're young, right? They watch cartoons and TV, and they're inundated with all of these cartoon characters, and many of them are designed in the anime kind of Asian-looking format, or the Asian look to them, and so that's kind of familiar, right? We want to kind of grab and harness that trust that the kids have already built up with those characters. And there's one other thing to really consider regarding unique features. You could create a unique feature that solves a problem, okay? If it solves a problem or makes life better, makes life easier, well, that's a good thing, because even if it's not visual or obvious or something that you're going to see in a video or a photo, it is probably beneficial if you're solving a problem or making life better or easier. So what if you found a product that is a great concept, but in the way that it works, it just doesn't work as well as it should? You see a bunch of comments or reviews on it that are just like, I wish this worked better. I'll give you an example. What if you had a cheese grater that had a suction cup, and the whole point of the suction cup was to keep it attached to the countertop so that as you're grating cheese, the thing doesn't fly out from underneath your hand and scatter cheese all over the kitchen, which, of course, I've done many times. So what if there was a big old suction cup that just sucks that thing right down to the countertop, and you're able to grate your cheese and make it so that it doesn't fly all over the place, a nice, neat pile of grated cheese all ready to go for your tacos or whatever you're making. All right. What if that suction cup that comes with the primary product just isn't very good? It's too small, or it doesn't suck very well. Well, at that point, you might say, I can make a product like that, but I'm going to redesign, or I'm going to come up with a better way to do that suction cup. I want a suction cup that really sucks. Well, if you do that, you're going to solve a problem. The problem being that the execution of the target product just isn't that good. And you know it's not that good because there was review after review after review after review where people were saying, I wish the suction cup worked better. I wish the suction cup would actually suck, but it doesn't. It works for a week and then it stops or whatever that is. So if you can go solve that problem, you're going to make somebody's life better or easier. You're going to actually create a better version of that product because you've solved that problem. If you do that, that's a unique feature that may not be visual, it may not be obvious, but it certainly is beneficial. But the fact that you're solving that problem means that when you go in to market that product, when you go create that listing, you're just going to simply point out the fact that your suction cup really sucks. And that's kind of in a positive way, right? Your suction cup works better. And so you've got a unique feature that's a unique selling proposition, a USP, that is superior to the target. And when you do that, you've accomplished the same thing that Belt Buddies and Seat Pets did. And of course, you can launch that product with very little or no resources because people are going to see that or they're going to understand that difference and they're going to prefer yours over the target. It's all about customer preference. As long as you can transfer the trust and as long as you can appear to be as good as the target product, then by solving that problem, yours becomes preferable, and customer preference is a powerful thing on Amazon. Now, you can also search Amazon for other ideas. They don't just have to be visual or obvious or beneficial or solve a problem. You can take a look around as you search around Amazon and as you're looking at products. You can look around and say, what kind of features would people want? Even if they don't solve a problem, they might make life easier. They might be something that people would like, and maybe they're not on the target product. Maybe you can make a small change, a design change, a change in the way that it functions or something like that that would be easy and simple to do and would be something that people would really like to see. Well, when you do that, when you're just looking around Amazon and you're looking at comments or reviews on products, you're going to notice that people will happily and freely tell what they don't like about a product. And if you can just take those things that they don't like and think about them, how could I make it so they do like the problem? What would I change to solve that customer's complaint about that product? That's one way that you can search for ways that you can come up with key unique features. Now, the real question about key unique features is, can you build a brand around it? Is it unique enough? Okay, it doesn't need to be too different. You don't want to create a whole new product. You don't want to have a wholesale change. You don't want it to be completely a brand new thing. You want it to be an incremental change, but you need it to be enough of a change that you can build a brand around it. And whatever that change is, whatever that feature is, whatever that visual cue is, or the obvious thing that's better, whatever that is, build a brand around it. Call it something. Come up with a trademark or a name or something that can capture that concept or idea, whether you're doing it in colors or images or names or titles or the product name or whatever. You want to capture that and build a brand around it. So as your existing products taper off in their life cycle, what you want to do is put money into sourcing new and more profitable items. You don't want to keep hanging on to your old products, continuing to try and wring the very last penny of profitability out of those things before they finally die an ugly death and you get stuck with a whole bunch of inventory that you can't sell, okay? You do not want to fight the market. You don't want to fight the crowds. You want to actually be ahead of the curve. You don't want to be the first one in, but you want to be the second one, right? You want to be number 2. I'm number 2, right? I'm number 2. That's what you want to be. Now, hey, if you can be second, you're not number 243, right? Number 2 is a great place to be because number 1, like you're drafting in a NASCAR race or you're in a bicycle race or something, the second person has very little effort to keep up with the first one, right? You're not spending a lot of time or effort. You're letting the first product kind of plow the way, kind of cut the path, and you're following in behind, but you're coming up with something that's going to be better than the first one. Be second, Ride that wave of popularity so that you're going to come on early in the life cycle of that product and be able to hang around and be a part of that whole wave for as long as it will last. This will enable you to capitalize on trends, Okay, capitalize on buzz, things that are exciting, things that you see around you that are exciting and interesting and new. You can capitalize on those by looking at them in the way that we're talking about today, by looking at them as though, I wonder if that's a girlfriend that I could take, right? You want to harness social media because social media is one of the ways that you can get very low cost or free advertising or free or very low cost launch juice, right? You can get a lot done on social media without having to spend very much money or spending almost no money at all. And so if you see things happening on social media, you can use that same social media to be able to promote your products too. But the whole point here is don't marry your products, okay? Don't marry them. You want to make sure that you are improving on someone else's products as your current stable of products gets older and tapers off. And as you're looking around at your product ideas, as you're taking a look at your more list and you're evaluating those things for profitability, you're also going to want to evaluate them for ways that you can come up with an incremental improvement to be able to bring something new to the market that's going to capitalize on that trust that gets transferred from similarity, but that has a unique selling proposition that's of value that you can brand and push into the market. And if you do that, you're going to sell a whole lot of these things without nearly as much effort as it takes to sell the same darn thing that somebody else is selling. Okay? It takes a little bit of thought up front, but it really doesn't take very much more effort to bring it out in such a way that it's unique to you and brandable. All right. Make something that's unique, but not completely unique. Make it almost unique, right? Take something that's existing and improve on it. Make it better, somewhat better. You're not trying to make it 100 million times better. You're not trying to completely change the design or anything like that. You just want to make it a little better, incrementally better, somewhat better. You want to get creative, but a little creative. Not massively creative and completely different design and anything like, no. Get a little bit creative. Change the eyes, change the face, maybe change the colors. Change something simple about it. And when you do that, you can unleash a brand. And that's what we're talking about right now. You got to get to the point where if you're selling a product, whether it's wholesale, whether it's distribution model or drop ship, whatever you're doing right now in your Amazon account, if you're not selling private label or OEM is even better, original equipment manufacturing, if you're not doing private label or OEM products, you're missing the boat because you're going to be just selling the same darn thing that everybody else is. You get no differentiation, no real opportunity for branding, no value that's being created in your account because you're just a middleman. And we want to get you out of being a middleman and into being something that is of value. And that comes from unleashing a brand. All right, now, before we're done, I have one favor I want to ask of you. In the comment box below, I'd like you to go down there and type in, "Hey, girlfriend." I mean, I know it sounds a little weird, "Hey, girlfriend," but you know what? It kind of helps to remember the things we talked about today, and it'll let me know that you got all the way through the video and that you're excited to keep going and looking forward to video number 4. So go ahead and type "Hey, girlfriend" into the comment box below, and we'll see you tomorrow.